Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor.
Hello and welcome to the Rivals South Asia Championship powered by LG UltraGear, Zotac and Act 5 Minute. We are in for an exciting game between Nubalan's phase from the Ocean Clan versus Rise of CJ from the Cloud Clan. And joined with me today is my co-caster Apollonia. What's up, Apollonia? Are you excited for this match?
Hi, Bishi. Yes, I'm very excited to cast this match, especially. Um, CJ, Rise of CJ, they are from India, if I'm not wrong, and Noob
Bangladesh,
Alliance.
Bangladesh. They're from Bangladesh, yeah.
Sorry, Bangladesh, yes, and Noob Alliance is from
Sri
Pakistan.
Lanka, Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Oh my gosh, I've got everything messed up today because I'm just
Okay.
like anticipating all of these countries going against each other. It's the top three from each country, so this is going to be huge. The first game we watched, Noob Alliance, they did extremely well, and I wonder if they're going to fare just as good in this match too.
Yeah, that's what I feel. They showed up with a very strong performance in game one against Northern Spiral Horns, who weren't looking that bad, honestly. And this makes me feel very confident in them this matchup. And Rise of CJ have not had a great game one so far. They, in fact, lost to Northern Spiral Horns. So you would assume that just through simple power levels that Nubalan's Phase would be favorites. But hey, you know what? It's a different game. Anything can happen. And you can see already, right? That's a Z pickup in the first phase for Rise of CJ. A lot of confidence coming out right there from the red side.
Yes, we see that Sejuani first pick. I really like that. It's a very safe pick for the jungle. She offers a lot of pressure for the early game, which is definitely going to be very beneficial to Noob Alliance. We see there's Zed. That's a very I like that Zed pick. But it's kind of risky in a sense. But Zed, like the assassins, now with the new map and terrain, I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to the
I
Zed from Rise of CJ.
completely agree with you, right? But problem with first picking Zed is exactly what NA phase have right shown. They just picked the Lissandra. Suddenly the mid lane becomes negated. But and they picked up the Tarek, which is a very Sri Lankan special bot lane. They generally pair it up with the Vayne. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen again this time, but the Zed, right? The Tarek and the Sejuani and the Lissandra. I don't think these are three ultimate options for him to, go for his death mark. So I feel FaZe are smart enough to deal with that early pickup Zed in that matter. So I like the adaptation, but I'm guessing Rise of CJ have this confidence in this player. I think it's gonna be Blade. I'm not sure who's gonna be playing it in the mid lane. It's gonna be Holy Ghost or not, but let's see what the what this Z ends up becoming. And you can see already, Apollo. What are your thoughts on the composition that FaZe seems to be drafting? Again, very team fight oriented. It looks like.
Hmm. I do like it. You see, there's new buffs coming out, and I was just thinking about the that crazy elder buff about how when you're 20% HP or lower, you just get sniped and die. And don't you think Tariq is like a really good pick for that kind of scenario? Because I do, and I really like this Tariq pick. So I want to see how they're going to utilize that. So far, the first three picks they're kind of dicey on the side of damage. I don't think there's a lot of damage coming out of that, but they can easily make it up with like a more of a bruiser top and an AD carry that does good damage over time.
Yeah, and you can see Caitlyn Ash have been banned, so really making sure that the Kai'Sa does not have a horrible leaning phase against whatever phase comes out with. And I feel that the Zaya is up for him, and the Zaya did so well in game one that I do not see why Hava just cannot go for the Zaya yet again. The Zaya, or could be the Vayne. We discussed this in Champ Select. I mean, this is the Sri Lankan special. The Vayne, the Taric bot lane, again can do really well into a Z if she knows how to survive the damage of the Q. But it's going to be the Tristana. I'm not sure. They are bamboozling us, Apollonia, at this point. So we'll have to wait and see before it goes. It's going to be the Tristana with a lot of mobility and the ultimate to pierce that away. So that's going to be a good pickup at the end of the day coming out. And that's the damage, right? That's exactly what you were looking out for. And will they go for the Yorick this time? It's actually banned out, so they won't. But it's going to be the Ilawi. Is that going to be an Ilawi that's going to be picked up? Yes, it is. It's an Ilawi pickup. What are your thoughts on that composition now that Ilawi has been picked up and that's going to be a Zac jungle?
Oh wow! Actually, I feel that the damage output from both teams is
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty decent. What's good about Noob Alliance is that Elawi basically has all her teammates with kits that can set her up for her tentacles and all of that. So Sejuani with the ulti, Lissandra, and Tariq has a stun. It's good to keep the enemies in position for Ilaoi to, continue slapping them with her tentacles. As for Rise of CJ, they have a lot of early game pressure. And that early game pressure can translate into securing dragons, Rift Heralds, and early towers. So I think it's a case of Noob Alliance being like they're gonna take a while to scale, while Rise of CJ has that early game advantage.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel will happen. And within Ilawi, this is like the perfect composition for her because everyone on the opponent side is going to come in and jump at them. And that's what exactly Ilawi wants. Is nobody here is going to kite them out. She will get a lot of damage in these team fights. And I feel at the end of the day, like again, New Balance's phases composition has a lot of AP as well, has a lot of CC point and click sort of thing, and disengage with the Taric. So overall, it seems more well rounded. But like you said, on the other side, Nautilus point and click, Zack can just jump in. Oh, we are going to have a cracking match apparently, Apurna, because it looks like both the teams just really, really want to fight, and that's just what they've drafted. I'm really surprised at seeing how much CC both the compositions have, and it's fun, as a caster when you see these games, and the exhaust also on the Taric is going to be really instrumental to deal with the Z. So smart pickup right there, and. What do you feel like in terms of a player to watch out for on the side of Rise of CJ? If you had to pick one person, who would it be in your opinion?
I don't have much experience watching these individual players, but looking at Rise of CJ, I definitely have my eyes on Holy Ghost. I would like to see how he fares on that Z, especially against a Lissandra matchup. We also have to take note that Noob Alliance, they're running double teleport, so that's gonna offer a lot of global pressure. I think that's gonna make up for the lack of, early game dominance that they don't have being up against Rise of CJ.
True, true. And I can't wait to see how this matchup depends. I think, again, we might be in for some level ones by the Rise of CJ team because they have a Nautilus who can look to make plays happen. So I'll be looking forward to seeing if that does happen. But do you feel that the AD only composition on the red side might end up becoming a problematic situation? Or do you feel that the Zac might just bring enough AP damage or the Kaiser might just go for an AP build? Because it looks like they're really drafting towards physical damage.
Yeah. Um, but I think nevertheless, both the AP and AD damage is pretty balanced out on both sides. So that's really good. The only thing that's a little bit worrying on the side of Rise of CJ is that they're either all in or go home. So if they're all in fails, where the ultimates from the Zac, Nautilus, and on does not work out, they're not going to be able to stand for prolonged fights unless Kaisa can keep herself alive or Zed manages to snipe someone in the back line of Noob Alliance. But looking at that, they do have a Taric and Alessandra, so that's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel like New Balance might have won this draft in just the way that they've drafted. Now we'll have to wait and see if they're gonna be able to stick to their draft and play accordingly because they look pretty hot right now. If they get another victory in their hands, they're gonna go 1-2 in their three games. And the first game was an FF, so technically undefeated in the games that they've played. And as we head into the loading screen, guys, this is the rival South Asia Championship powered by LG UltraGear, Zotac, and Act Fibernet. You are watching this on the Esports Club's YouTube channel, so please stay tuned for some exciting matches coming underway. This is game 2 of the day between Nubalance Phase from the Ocean Clan and Rise of CJ from the Infernal Clan. Rise of CJ have not gotten a victory yet, and they are going to look to be able to win this game because this is going to be important for them to have their score on the board. As we head into the loading screen, a lot of brilliant skins again. Voidbringer Ilawi, that thing looks purple. But yeah, very very purple after that. But does look bad though.
From the previous game, we saw everybody flexing on their skins with the tournament accounts. I really like that. The cover Lissandra is definitely looking very
Oh,
eye-catching.
true,
It's
true, true, true,
gorgeous. Yeah,
true.
that looks
Very
great.
gorgeous.
Skins with the new releases and everything. That's just so exciting about League of Legends. They're constantly coming up with all these new themes, and it just overall makes this game very enjoyable, I feel.
I agree completely. I always get a skin for the champs I play. Like I don't play a lot, but the ones I play, I always make sure I have a skin for them. So I'm excited to see how this matchup fares. And Like even though I feel FaZe has an advantage going into it, I would not be surprised to see Rise of CJ probably like get an advantage win, because this is a team that honestly had a very good early game against Northern Spiral Horns too. Just at the end they were able to lose out against the Darius. So maybe with Championship Z, Holy Ghost playing the Electrocute Z might be able to make some plays happen. And the amount of long range CC, gosh damn it, that's a lot of CC right there. So, a lot of lack of damage, a lot of CC. Let's have a look at how they end up playing out. But the game does load, so we will get to know in a few minutes. But I'm gonna probably keep my eyes out in the mid lane because I feel the Z is going to be instrumental in making sure that Rise of Caesar gets ahead. Because if the Z is behind Apollonia, like I feel like that might just crumble Rise of Caesar's composition entirely.
Yes, yes, yes. The Z pick, very, very interesting to me. You know, we don't throughout all the tournaments that we've had, especially throughout the year, I haven't quite seen a Z make his mark in a game. So this Z, Holy Ghost, I think I kind of have high expectations for him, but I would like to see how he's able to roam and get his team going in the early game. And we do see the customary pauses coming out. There has been some terrible issues with the server, but all will be good. I'm very excited. I just want this to quickly load so we can get into some action.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. But as is customary, Garena also is having a little bit of this thing, but that doesn't matter as we are heading into the game of Poluna. So yes, there is less pause time, and I'm happy because we get to go into the game very soon. And yeah, that's gonna be it. Do you see an invade happening? My hands are like just in a very interesting pose. I'm clapping to see if there's gonna be some invades, but yeah, I think we might see them. Who do you
Oh,
think has an advantage if any team invades right now?
all right. I think in the early game, definitely Noob Alliance. The Sejuani is around. She might have a passive up. I think she does.
Mojo
And
does spot them out. The Q misses, so Mojo with those static movements completely dissuades the invade from Rise of Siege.
yes, looks like there will be no invades on either side, but I guess everybody will be standing ground, making sure that no wards get planted into their jungle, because the early wards that you can drop, it definitely messes up the jungler's pathing. And that's something we don't want, because that's going to stop all possibilities of a gank opportunity in the early game.
True. And nobody has any wards on the map right now, so it's just going to be standard starts coming out from both the teams right now. A lot at stake for Rise of Siege as they need to win this game because otherwise it's just going to be 0-2 in the series, and that's not looking good for them because the last game is against Know Your Place, the Indian representatives with the Mountain Clan, and that's going to be a hard game for them to win. So they better make sure they win this one at least so that they end up, not losing out in the long run.
Yes, and we do see that both sides will start at the red buff. I think that's really good. You know, both junglers, they're not really heavily reliant on blue. So this early red buff, they could do a full clear on one side and try to look for an opportunity either in the top lane or the bottom lane. It can be very unsuspecting when junglers do path this way. And I hope to see this happen either from Zac or from Sejuani.
True, and it does look like standard starts coming out that they're both Sejuani and Zac will just look to farm out. Don't see them as being people who will try to kill each other in the jungle. Will probably look to gank happen. So a very tank sort of a composition from both the teams, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that ends up paying off. I feel team fights might be extended and being a lot longer. And who do you think that favors when team fights go a lot longer than they should? Do you feel as if the Kaisa might be at more benefit, or will it actually be the Tristana? Because I definitely these team fights are not going to end in a second. It feels like it's going to be really, really long because they're so all of them are so tanky at this point.
Oh, at this point, I think for prolonged fights, Noob Alliance definitely, they have it in the bag. You know, with Lissandra's CC, especially with the passive, when she takes down enemies, there's also the Tristana disengage, Tariq's ulti to prolong the fights as well. And Ilaoi is really good in sustained fights because of her healing coming out from her tentacles and basically her whole kit. As for Rise of CJ, they got a hard engage, and when they do hard engage, that one target that they do decide to focus on has to be taken down in a matter of like a couple of seconds. If they don't go down and they live, that spells trouble for the Rise of CJ. But I do want to see that early game dominance. We see Zac moving around, trying make a
Radler gets
very
spotted
offensive
out, does
play.
get rooted, but manages to jump away in the nick of time. So that definitely helps them out because that would have been a Zac passive blob in the first 3 minutes, and that's not something that Zac wants. So a small tempo advantage to Nubal and Swiss at this point, but in terms of farm, it looks like it's even Stevens. But here comes the Sejuani, and the Zed could be in trouble right here. And sorry, the Zed, no, the Sejuani could be in trouble. But never mind, it's gonna be the Zac who ends up blowing his passive. The teleport be used, we don't know. Guard dies. It's the Zed who picks up first blood, and nobody's hitting the Zac, so he just survives and respawns like as if nothing happened. And the teleport finally comes, but it's the Ilawi who gets it, and it's gonna be the Lissandra who also gets rooted at this point. It's a 2-for-0, and Rise of CJ with their teamwork and the Zac get themselves on the board with 2 kills for 0.
Wow, I think that was a mess up from Sejuani. It was really nice how Rise of CJ reacted so quickly. They all met in the river. The bot lane was so quick. Forgotten AD and Ryuji Takasu. They were so quick with their follow up. That actually turned what's supposed to be was to be an advantage into a disadvantage. And I think Sejuani kind of miscalculated the Zac passive because that ultimately like messed up the kill. And On came in with the teleport. I think that was worth 2 kills. It's a great start for Rise of CJ at this point.
Yes, unfortunately, the On does not get a lot out of it. No assists for him, but that still is good in terms of teamwork. It shows the Rise of CJ are there to fight when they want to, and as all five. And this looks good, but they Candy Panda and the top lane just bullying the On right now. Crits is gonna have a little bit of a difficult time because the On is not someone who does well into the Ilawi, and just the fact that he's lost a lot of CS also hurts him. So eventually, that's like the only lane for Alliance phase that is doing well at this point.
Yeah, looking at this scoreboard, we can see that bottom lane very even. Elawi seems to be having the upper hand with the CS lead. I think On is struggling a little bit, but he can still stand. You know, the really good thing about On is that he can build his items while being in lane. He doesn't have to go back to the shop. And he can also help upgrade items, so that's going to be an advantage. We see a little bit of a trade happening between Zed and Lissandra.
Uses his entire combo on when she had aftershock, so literally loses the trade because of that. So Kratos
Exactly.
is that aftershock really smart about that rune pickup. He's able to survive the thing not much. Oh, now the damage hits. There you go. That's the thing you're looking out for. I feel with level 6, Zed will be the first one to hit it. In that case, he can just look to go all in because the Ignite's going to be up as well, and he has a lethality item as well. So potentially this Zed could be online Apollonia, and how important it is, right, for a Zed to get first blood in this game.
Yes, Zed will be able to look for opportunity. Right now, he has just hit level 6. I also like to bring a little bit of attention to Zac. He does have a Bami Cinder. It looks like his items is well above Sejuani. She's got to be careful if she does come into a skirmish with Zac. So at this point, you know, it looks like mid is being pushed out from the side of Rise of CJ. Not much is going to happen, but we do see a teleport coming in. Oh, that's just Ilawi getting back to lane.
Yeah.
Efficiency.
True. You might want
Yeah.
to forward a little bit in the game. You're a few seconds behind.
Alright, not to worry. It's just a little bit of
Yeah.
lag going on in the spectators delay.
Yeah, oh, it's gonna be a Zac with an ultimate. Hava misses his Q. The Zac jumps, but again, when you do not land your CC, you're not going to be without these trades. And Hava just playing it casually returns a lot of damage back to the Zac and goes back to his laning phase as if nothing else happened. So, an attempt right there from Brad Life, but was not able to get them the net result that they wanted to get.
Yeah, it was a good effort though, you know, the pressure is there. Um, but Hawa, he's farming really well. It doesn't seem like anything is phasing him at this point. I love the vision that Noob Alliance has on the bottom side of the map, you know. They want to make sure that now that dragons are a lot more powerful than what they were before, they don't want to let any one of them slip away from just under their nose.
True. And the first dragon will be the ocean dragon, so definitely a lot of missing health healing will be helpful in the laning phase the sooner they can get it. But again, you know, it's looking like the Alliance bot lane is just having the better of things at this point since they're able to survive and able to soak some pressure and still be able to push out the wave and be having have a small CS lead for themselves. So it's looking good for Alliance in the bot and the top as well because the top is like 22 CS ahead at this point with the wave being even. So I think they'll be happy even if they're behind around, you know, because of 2 deaths. It's still not the end of the world for them, and I think they're just gonna look to spam it out. Ooh, Kratos with those jukes though was able to survive a lot of the damage. The shurikens did not land from Holy Ghost right there, so Lissandra would be in lane for a lot longer. And this game state has gone slow, Apollonia. It does look like both the teams are just looking to farm out, get to level 6s, and maybe once the Zac and the Sejuani get level 6 is when we might see some more action coming in the game.
Yes, I agree. There's barely like a 1k gold difference, but right now Rise of CJ, they've got the pacing and momentum that they want. They got those 2 early kills, and you know when it sets the team into a good headspace and they really have that momentum, it's good because you see them attempting to make ganks happen, like how Zac tried in the bottom lane, and Zed is also helping with the vision control. So I like that about Rise of CJ. I do want to see it translate a little bit more action happen, like what you said. And also, you know, Rift Herald now spawns every 6 minutes, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
So it'd be nice if we saw an early Rift Herald too.
considering how slow these junglers are, they definitely will need help from the laners. I think this is a testament to the picks themselves. When you have two tanks playing on each side, I think they just want to farm up, not do any sort of gangs, and then maybe once they get level 6, which they are right now, so Giovanni is level 6, Zac is not, and that's a nice Nautilus ultimate, but a brilliant disengage. There could be a teleport, a flash has to be used right there from any Mojo to survive that and reach Takasu also being a little aggressive. So finally, we see some plays being happening, but again, Mojo just uses his flash and runs away for an ignite. So that's gonna be a flashless Taric at this point.
The way they disengaged that was really beautiful, you know? That just kind of wasted the jungler's time, but it looks like Brad Life has stopped his recall, and I think he's looking for another
Oh,
opportunity.
beautiful! But the Taric lands at the perfect time, Apollonia. Can they survive? They actually cannot, and that could be another kill because Mojo is low. And that's a brilliant execution, but Sejuani comes and oh, this is not where it's looking good. Has to flash it for that, and he does his best. And look at Bradley being the Chad for his team. And here comes Zed, gets Hawa. And Rise of CJ suddenly out of nowhere are winning this team fight massively. And Forgotten AD with Ryuji Takasu are showing up this Noob Alliance bot lane, and how? As they are now 5-0 in this game with a 2000 goal lead for themselves.
I felt that Noob Alliance really did a great job trying to respond to that, but it was just that Rise of CJ were way more coordinated. Brad Life managed to get out with a slither of health. He does not even have his passive. He didn't have it at that point, but that was beautifully played by them. I think Brad Life has set the pace so well for Rise of CJ. It's beautiful, and now they do secure themselves an Ocean Drake.
I mean, this is the level of play that we expect to see out of Rise of CJ, right? Brad Life was beautiful in those team fights, and the way he re-engaged back and reached Pikachu, it just feels like they are so much in sync in these team fights, and it makes sense for them to pick a composition that, you know, does so well, and they need this early game lead up, because if the Z is not ahead, then it's an automatic loss. So the fact that they are ahead is good for them, and they need to continue to keep the pedal to the metal and increase the goal lead even further. Otherwise, you know, it's just going to be Lissandra, Tristana, Taric scaling up, and Zed might not be able to do anything post that. So a great start by Rise of CJ. They definitely have to continue this momentum. And the Zed having 2 kills with a complete ghost blade is looking very scary right now.
Yes, and if we do look at the scoreboard, we can see the Noob Alliance has much better CS. You know, I think the laning is really good, but Rise of CJ, the way they rotate, basically their macro play is a lot stronger. Noob Alliance is not completely out of the game. It's only a just about 2k gold difference. That's not too much. And we see, ouch, that's some painful damage from
Yeah.
Zen. He's got the push that he needed. He is living up to some basically actually the expectations that I
He
had,
is, he
had
is.
of him. Yeah.
Agreed. Completely is. As a Zed, you're supposed to roam and make plays. He went and made plays, and Hawa, we were praising this guy last game for having a great game. Is not playing bad this game either, but just the aggression from Rise of CJ is not something that I feel they were prepared for. Having said that, Alliance phase make a very smart move, get their Herald and summon it top to get Candy Panda ahead, the only laner right now who is massively ahead for Alliance phase, and that could potentially be the first star going down, or not really. It's able to get 2 more platings for themselves. So that's going to be a lot of gold in the hand. And the bot lane, however, a 4-man gank, and that death is going to be Mojo also dying, but survives to the end of the tier. And here comes Grits as well, not going down that fight, realizing, you know what, it doesn't matter, they are just going to go ham on the towers, but they're still not able to get it. I'm not sure if it's good for it or not. Gal almost dies, but no, first tower eventually goes down, but not before a lot of damage. And here comes Grits trying to do what he can. Candy Panda uses ultimate right there, but does not land a lot of damage. Here comes Zed on that champion, does a lot of damage and is able to kill Candy Panda out, but not before Segun has a brilliant ultimate onto that, and they will get the kill. So it's going to be at the end of the day a 1 for 2 in favor of Nubaland's face as they look to get top. Never mind, Zed survives. And he will survive. Oh, it's a 1 for 1 at the end of the day. It's so close. But what a brilliantly executed team fight. And Holy Ghost showing up huge on that Zed right there.
Wow, Noob Alliance. You see, they managed to get the first tower and also secure the Rift Herald. It doesn't matter that they didn't have too much of a good start. The CS is making up for it. That nice pickup as well as that first tower gold has really just kind of helped them not lose too much. And I think Noob Alliance is the kind of team where you cannot underestimate, because just as Rise of CJ kind of thought that they had everything under control, they lose a member, and I guess, you know, that cancels out the chance of like a perfect game. But it's all good. I like this from Noob Alliance. That quick response with the teleport coming in from Lissandra, it was beautiful, very lovely.
Very, very lovely indeed, because at this point it's quite exciting to see how well Rise of CT have played, and this is exactly the kind of game they needed to be able to feel confident, because the next matchup is against Know Your Place, a team that is 2-0 in the series, so they're going to be really confident as well. And if they get a win here, it'll boost up their confidence a lot to go into that game as well. Having said that, both the outer towers have gone down. What is the next play up? Where do you think? Do you think the bot lane should have rotated top to get the top lane tower? Because they still, in fact, I think they want to get to the dragon. That's why they stayed both sides, it looks like.
Yes, Dragon is now a very, very big priority, so staying around the bottom side and contesting for it would be best. Looking at Noob Alliance, they do have Ilaoi pressuring the On. On does have teleport, so does Ilaoi, so
yeah,
I think
it's a crazy as fight happening.
4-1.
Bad Life has to run away. They're able to get the TP from both the teams, so we will have 5v5 in the Dragon Pit. The only ultimate that's down for Rise of CJ is going to be the Nautilus. And look at this beautiful on and that combination, completely annihilating Noob Alliance's face. Where is the Taric cult? Apparently not enough. Kratos as well. You know what? Rise of CJ is like, you guys want to team fight? You can't beat us at our own game, because we are the kings of team fighting. We play in the region that loves to team fight, and that's exactly why they find themselves a 2-0 kill and potentially get the Infernal Deck for themselves. Rise of CJ, man, looking damn impressive in this game.
Wow, Brad Life, I think he's the MVP right now. The way that he slingshotted himself in with the On ultimate, it was a great combo. Lissandra did come over the wall, tried to do something, but instead she got caught. Kratos and Candy Panda, unfortunately, they do go down. But from Rise of CJ, brilliantly played. Now they secure an Infernal Dragon under their belt. And we see the cloud winds quicken.
Yes,
So
the
it
red
looks like
and
it's
the
a
blue
cloud
buff
map.
of the map becomes extra speedy for all of these rotations, and I'm really impressed by the combo. That wombo combo was brilliant, right? Like seeing the On and the
Beautiful.
Zac. That was the thing of beauty, and I think Nene Face just did not realize the power of that composition. I feel now that they've gotten that, they will have to play safe, but they are almost 4,000 gold behind. And what do you think they need to come back into this upper lane? Like the things, it looks like things are getting away from them.
Well, as of now, I think for both sides, they got to rethink their strategy and how they want to go forward. Rise of CJ, they do have a significantly larger amount of gold, which is 4k. At this point, you know, being around the level 8 to 11 mark, that differs because we see the Zed, he has items above Lissandra. We see the Kai'Sa, she has items above the Tristana as well. And that's the two carries. So that's why it's really significant, this gap right now. Rise of CJ, they gotta make sure that their all-ins does result in a guaranteed kill. Because if that kill doesn't happen and the fight is prolonged, Noob Alliance can just flip it around like just like a switch.
The Zed is just massively ahead. The Lissandra pick, honestly, yes, it was there to neutralize the Zed, but Zed just roamed elsewhere and got all these kills. And Hawa, we praise him in game 1. You know, the Tristana pick, he is just getting overwhelmed by the team fighting prowess of Rise of Siege. As we see in the mid lane, Zed wants his revenge. Will he go for the ultimate or will he not is something we'll have to see. Decides to not go for it, but does a lot of damage in the process. And Kratos is having a hard time. In game 1 as well, in the Syndra against the Tristana matchup and now against the Zed, he has been the guy for any phase who has to take the losing matchups and he is just not having a good time right now. You can see Brad Life, my lord, this guy just wants to climb towers, but he's just getting stunned and he will die in the process. Maybe a bite of a bit more than he can shoot. There's no teleport coming on the side, but there is no teleport, and finally the Zac will die and gives the kill over. A tad bit too aggressive from Rise of CJ right there. They lose one for nothing.
This was what I was talking about just now. You can't underestimate Noob Alliance. I think there was slightly a bit of like, it was like a hiccup from Brad Life. I think he kind of overestimated his ability there, but not to worry, you know, they're still kind of ahead. Zed and Kaisa, they have yet to unleash the beast within them. And what is this?
Yeah, Zed just kills him off and they want to do the Herald. They don't want them to do the Herald. And they get a catch on any Mojo. There is a Taric ultimate. Will it be used? Oh, they doesn't have one. My bad. Never mind then. This fight is just not in favor of Noob Alliance phase as they look to get. Oh, here comes Ilawi. And she does what Ilawi does, which is use her ultimate for a lot of damage. Yes, she does. But that's not enough because even though she kills one, it's eventually NA phase who come out behind with Rise of Siege getting the Herald and 4 kills. This is looking like a complete stomp right now, Apollonia.
Wow, okay, we do see a pause coming in. It looks like Ilawi has a problem with her net, so she's gonna sort that out. But I just want to talk about how Noob Alliance, you know, they got ahead. They managed to get a kill, but I think they were a little bit too hasty going in for that contest for the Rift Herald. Ilawi performed pretty well, but I don't think her items are enough at this point to, you know, kind of put in the damage that she needs. If she does have, I think once she builds that Starax, it will go much better for her. She needs something that, you know, where she can stand. She got to be able to sustain through the fights. Rise of CJ, they have great tankiness coming out from On, Nautilus, and Zed. So
Yeah,
that's going to be hard to beat through them.
Completely. And they got the Herald as well. That goal lead has extended to almost 4,500. If they're able to get the tower, it'll definitely become 5,000. So looking really strong right now. Rise of CJ, they were in this position in the last game too when they're playing against Northern Spiral Horns. But can they look to end the game? Can they look to finish it out, close it in a clean way, and get themselves their first win of the day? Is something that we will have to wait and watch, guys. Because it's been an exciting game. Remember, guys, you are watching the South Asia Rift Rivals Championship powered by LG. Zotac and Act 5 Bernard. We are in game 2 of day 2 between Noob Alliance phase on the blue side from the Ocean Clan and Rise of CJ from the Infernal Clan from Bangladesh. And Rise of CJ looking really strong in 20 minutes of the game so far, and all outers, almost all outers have gone down for Noob Alliance. And I feel Apollonia, I think they might just have to slow down the game as much as they can because they are losing every team fight they're taking essentially.
Yes, it's going to be kind of tough for them, you know, with that all-in composition coming in from the side of CJ, the Rise of CJ. The next dragon that is coming up will be the Cloud Drake. At this point, it'll be great for either team to secure this. The Rift Herald has been summoned, and it looks like they want to take the top tower. So this is the second Rift Herald of the game, and I like that. And what is this? Is this an early Baron?
Yeah, they took the second one, and again, it looks like there's absolutely no response. Rise of CJ playing so well, playing aggressive. This is what we expected to see out of them. And Noob Alliance face just look lost. I'm not sure what happened in game 1 and 2, but they definitely do not look on their game at all. They notice that Dragon has been taken. Eventually, they will go to get the Cloud Drake to deny that, but here comes Rise of CJ, here comes On as well. All ultimates are up, Apollonia. We could be in for another cracking team fight. And you know what happens when Zac and On collide? They do a lot of damage, and the On ultimate is being used, but does not get the return of whatever it does miss it. And there's a nice Zac ultimate of On against 3 people, and it's a mess of a fight. But Tarikat is coming clutch at this point, and here, you know what? Tarikat did a lot of damage mitigation in a way because no one's able to kill any of them, and here comes Zed to do what he can, but they completely lose out on this team fight. It's a 4-0, and Noob Alliance phase out of nowhere just get themselves a huge team fight victory with Baron not on their side.
Wow, this is That was the prolonged fight we were waiting for the entire game. That team fight was basically what Noob Alliance saw. That was the vision that they had. They got engaged on, and Tarek managed to pop that ulti so beautifully, causing all of Rise of CJ to be on cooldowns, and the engage basically did not kill any of them. They lived, Noob Alliance lived through that, and they turned it around into their favor. Now the goal gap is slowly closing up. Wow, my speech, that was just insane. Now on two
Good.
towers, two towers for Noob Alliance, 3 towers for the Rise of CJ. It is still close.
Forgotten AD tried to forget that he's an AD. Should not go in between four
What?
people. That survived though. It's okay at the end of the day. We are at 23 minutes and 11 seconds in the game, guys. And just when you thought Rise of CJ had it in the bag, in typical Rise of CJ fashion, they are known to throw games when they are ahead. This happened against Northern Spiral Horns. Will this happen again is something we'll have to see, because sometimes the biggest enemy that this team has is themselves. And we'll have to wait and watch if they're able to just calm down a little bit, know and play around the Taric ultimate, because eventually when Taric ultimate is up is when you need to disengage and re-engage back when it's down, and that's kind of the team fight that Rise have realized that they have to play. Now that they have gotten 3 kills, Lissandra also is getting her items, Ilawi has a death's dance, so in these team fights, Ilawi is going to have a field day just doing so much damage. And even though there is still Baron up, mind you, one person still has it, and they're looking to go for a bot lane siege with that. It's going to be the Kaisa who still has it, and Kaisa just, I think, will get the bot lane tower down. So something comes out of the Baron at least for them.
Yeah, they still do have that Baron buff now. They're trying to go for that tier 2 bottom tower. The way Rise of CJ is playing, I like it. They're still very offensive. I feel that the meta has changed as such, where you gotta keep being on the offensive, because if you kind of die any point past 30 minutes or later, it could be just GG. Like, the enemy team can run it down mid if all 5 of them is still alive. So, you know, you gotta defend by being offensive, in a sense, if you get what
True.
I mean. Yeah.
Offense is the best defense.
That's
They
what
say
I
that,
feel.
right?
Yeah, but they gotta make sure, Rise of CJ, that with the engage that they do put out onto Noob Alliance, one of those members has to die. Because if they live through it, I think it's pretty much over for them.
Yeah, they are itching for a fight. You can see it already. They want to dive that bot lane tower, but I feel when the tower is still up, it's not going to be useful for them. So eventually, it becomes a bot lane sort of a 4v4 happening, not really in favor of either team. I would say it's just going to be a stall. The top lane, however, is pushing massively in favor of any phase. They'll be happy to try to siege this off because they don't have to worry about side waves going against them. And that's what I feel. Either CJ might just be a bit confused in what they need to do. Bright Life trying to go for an opportunity, not sure that's going to be helpful. Does decide to back off. And the On has to upgrade items, Apollo. This is the point where On has started to upgrade items for his teammates. At the next level, he'll start doing that. And that's going to be an advantage that will not be seen in the gold lead, but will also exist because each upgrade is worth 1,000 gold for CJ.
Yes, and you know, we do see that Zed, Holy Ghost on the Zed, he realizes that they can't exactly force a fight because that didn't work out too well in the mid lane previously. I think Holy Ghost should try to look for a kill, and he should be the one that's splitting with a 4-1 coming out from the Rise of CJ. We do see them secure the red buff. Yoink! It's for them. They don't want their enemies to have it. As for Noob Alliance, I think they're showing a great amount of patience. The patience that they are displaying is really good.
That's true, and it feels like the game has slowed down. This is what Noob Alliance wanted. They wanted to slow down the game. With the third dragon spawning as well, the dragon soul is up for grabs. Cloud is what is there for taking for everyone else. And you know what Cloud does? So when you get the soul, you get cooldown reduction and movement speed as well. So every time you take a Cloud Drake, you essentially get 10, 20, 30% off of your ultimate, which is really, really helpful, especially for a Zed, mind you, who anyways has a huge, very low cooldown on his champion. So it's going to be very interesting to see, and this is the fight we are looking for up there. This could be the fight that we're seeing. I am excited. Can Rise of CJ take it down, or will Noob Alliance phase come back and play as well as they did? Is something we have to wait and watch. It's going to be a back coming though. It's going to be the Kaisa who's going to go for a back. She does have gold 1500 that she wants to spend, and I think that's exactly what she's doing, but decides to back out. It's going to be a small pause, probably just to reconnect their battle ping, so hopefully not long, but What do you anticipate happening? There's gonna be a fight, no doubt about it. There's gonna be a fight in the Dragon Pit. Who do you think is gonna come out on top?
Well, it looks like Noob Alliance wants to start the dragon first, and if Rise of CJ times their engage really well and causes Noob Alliance to take damage from the dragon as they have a team fight, then I think that's pretty obvious that Rise of CJ will come out victorious. But if Noob Alliance backs away and forces the dragon aggro to go onto Rise of CJ and Rise of CJ doesn't realize, then I think that's GG for them. But at this point, I still feel it's very even. It can go either way on both sides. I think it depends on which team plays to their best abilities, uh, depending on their team composition. One is like prolonged fights, and the other is hard engage.
That's true, and I feel if Rise of Siege know how to play these team fights correctly, they should be the ones to come out on top because they have a very lethal combination and they have a Zed who can completely negate the Tristana if he gets his ultimate right. So it's really on execution. I feel Rise of Siege in the last team fight completely butchered their execution with the on ult not going in, and there was a nice ultimate by the Nautilus, but it was not enough. And Kaisa has 1500 gold at this point. She really wants to back. But here comes the fight. Expecting Nautilus ult comes with that cut. And look at all this damage. And the damage, the brilliant Zonia right there from everyone. Kratos as well. But the Lissandra will eventually die. The On is just in front of four people saying, you know what, come at me. I will not die. And this is the fight that finally Rise of CJ win on their own terms. And Kaisa has an ultimate still, gets the triple kill. Now they are 4-0. And Rise of CJ finally decide, you know what guys, we are not going to throw this game at least. We're going to get the Ocean Break, the Cloud Break, and we're going to get the team fight and a massive team fight victory coming out right there for them.
I think this is kind of like a reoccurring mistake that we do see in this region. Is when teams start an objective, be it Dragon or Baron, they let the enemy team engage on them and they're taking all the aggro in. And it's a reoccurring mistake, and I hope that it doesn't happen, you know, in future games. But you know, there's pressure. You want to win, and you're fighting hard. Sometimes mistakes do happen. We're not perfect. We do see that Baron is going to go down to Rise of CJ, and this is going to be advantageous for them. Illaoi coming in with the teleport. What is happening,
Oh,
Bishi?
someone looks to fight, someone is looking to run. The call was to run, however, eventually they will run away. Yes, they lose the AD carry. The shutdown does go to the Illaoi, a massive shutdown, mind you. But at the end of the day, they still get Baron, and I would still call that worth on the side of Rise of CJ. But yeah, that shutdown on the Illaoi, though, will just make her even tankier at this point.
Oh yeah, and also in this game, haven't you noticed that both teams are really quick on objectives? And I like that because, you know, they're playing and rotating. They're going to the lanes closest to the objective which has spawned, and I think that's really good.
Yes, because we are in a tournament that focuses on the 12 best teams from South Asia. These are teams that have played consistently well across their own regions and are known to become one of the best teams that they can be. So the fact that we're seeing such great rotations completely makes sense, you know, so that they have such good teams. And this is why I love this championship. You know, thank you for LG and Zotac and Act 5 for sponsoring this wonderful tournament because we're able to see such brilliant teams from all across South Asia being able to compete and objectively, you know, just play so well. And it's been a treat to watch this game because of how well the Rise of Sisha have drafted. And let's see if they have what it takes to close though, because that's what I feel they might have issues because they had it in the last game. Let's see if they have it in this game, or will they just not have it? We'll have to wait and watch because I feel this is their game to lose. Like, there's no way in the world they lose this game unless they themselves make massive mistakes.
Yes, that's very true, Bishi. Noob Alliance, you know, now they're just trying to pick up the scraps. They gotta defend against the Baron buff coming out from Rise of CJ. Rise of CJ, they're really coordinated right now. It looks like they're fully utilizing the buff.
There's going to be another ultimate usage, but Tariq Ult does survive, and that's going to be no deaths yet. But sir, lovely Q returns back, and Takasu though blows the stopwatch, and here comes Zack again, just trying to be ham. And my lord, Rise of CJ have zero chills in this game as they're just fighting at the tower and still winning. On top of all of that, they get the Sejuani and they look to get the tower, potentially also look to get the inhibitor that will go down. There's two cannon minions, mind you, but there is no melee minions, so they might have to wait a little bit more, and this might allow them to come back. Never mind, it's gonna Zac rush it and tank it. That's the call for them, and this is going to be the inhibitor tower going down.
Rise of CJ basically saw the flaw in the team composition coming out from Noob Alliance. The Tarek ulti was down and they knew that they were vulnerable. They utilized that Zac hard engage right onto Noob Alliance, and now they pretty much have it figured out. And at this point, I think it's just gonna be I think it's gonna be just Rise of CJ rolling it down, picking up all the inhibitors, and just stripping Noob Alliance away from their resources.
That's true, and this is what we are about to see right now. As the first inhibitor does go down, the second will be the one to take for them right now. We'll have to wait and see if they're going to go for another siege, because they just look so tanky at this point. Warmogs, oh my! I don't think the Zac is dying. I literally don't think the Zac is dying anymore. Because if he has a stone kind of mobile, I've played with this shit in ARAM. Okay, guys, this doesn't die. He heals when he jumps. So I don't know what's going to happen, but god damn it, they need some armor penetration, and Tristana is building towards some, but literally he's not going to die unless the tower does a lot of damage or something. So now the 4th Drake will be up. This is going to be the 4th Drake. Cloud Soul gives 10% movement speed out of combat or after casting an ability, so that's going to be really helpful for them. I think 30% movement speed when casting an ability, so that gives them a lot of movement speed to be able to maneuver around these team fights. So I'm going to wait and watch and see how this team fight transpires, because slowly and steadily it's a 10,000 goal lead Rise he just built, and look at this on being the builder that he is, gets himself another item for this Nautilus, who has a Locket of the Iron Solari now upgraded to a Circlet of the Iron Solari, looking really good right now.
He was just casually building an item for his teammate while, you know, the enemy just strolls past. No biggie. And we see Rise of CJ, you know, they're clearing out all of the vision. I really do want to commend both the supports on either side. Their vision scores are extremely high, so you know that they've been put to work. As much as, you know, Tarek, Mojo on that Tarek, he's playing from behind, but he's still pretty much doing the best that he can. And we do see this air drake is going to go down and to Rise of CJ. Wow, they have so many dragons under their belt at this point. And I think it's going to be hard to stop them, because a majority... Look at that Zed, who's level 17. With his counterpart, Lissandra at level 14.
Yeah, he has 478 movement speed, and when he casts his ultimate, that increases 30% more. So the fact that when Zac casts his ultimate, he can jump around like from one point to another like a dash, makes this a really fun fight. I'm looking forward to seeing the next time Zac uses ultimate, because remember when you cast your ultimate, you increase your movement speed by around 30%, and that's exactly what looks really OP. 40% mind you, not 30, 40% movement speed. The last siege is happening at Polonia. Can Alliance do what they can to survive? Yes, they get a soul out of Nautilus, but that does jack shit. And I think the top lane has to be responded to again. A 4-1 siege coming out from Rise of Siege. This could be game right now, or could be the end of the game.
Is Noob Alliance gonna pull something out of their hat? I don't think so. You know, I think they're just analyzing the situation, and they're still trying to practice a lot of patience. But we do see that Zed just eating away through the mid lane into their base. And it's a 4-1 strategy, very simple strategy. They don't have the Baron buff, but they still can exert a lot of pressure. I do like the way Noob Alliance is just wave clearing, and Ilawi is using her poke to pull the souls to put a little bit more damage onto them. And look at Zed.
So fast.
Zed does not care. He does not care at all.
So fast. 470 movement speed, uses the Ghost Blade, runs away like it's nobody's business, and it's going to be Baron. Now, will Noob Alliance phase look to get the Baron? Can they look to steal it? Can they look to fight? I don't know what the On is doing. Is On a split pusher? Is On looking to flank? What is On doing? I have no idea. But that's a 4v5 that I do not think is favorable, my friend. We'll have to wait and see what happens. It's gonna back off, it looks like. But hey, you know what? The Castle might be in trouble. He gets caught out, and then the On is not in the team fight. What is Rise of Gear doing? Why are they fighting a 45? Are they that confident they'll win a 45? I don't think so that they are. And in fact, they're losing this massively. Holy Ghost has to use his flash to run away, and they somehow survive. And Prince is like, you know, I'm just gonna take the tower. And he does, but like, weird ass seas of movements from either team. Somehow it works out because they get the bot lane up the tower, but they lose a flash on the Zed, which might have been pivotal at this point.
I love the way Rise of CJ pulled out from that fight. Did you see that they immediately changed their position? And Noob Alliance was starting to take the aggro from the Baron. That the On manages to secure that one tower, and it looks like they're going to attempt Baron again. Wow, the
This is
rise of
gonna be close
CJ.
because I feel, oh, it's a nice ultimate. Here comes Zack. He's someone not. Oh, you know what? He's gonna go after Tristana, and the Tristana just dies because you know what? There's a lot of damage coming right there. And Forgotten AD might also be in trouble, but you know what? He survives. Kratos is able to also survive using his Sonya, but a beautiful shuriken from Zed kills him, and that's just gonna be a massive team fight yet again. Oh, never mind. Candy Panda, the god on that Ilawi just does so much damage, gets a triple kill, and single-handedly makes sure that the game is not over because of that. And now he will look to run away as well. Can he use the blast cone? Yes, he can, but he will survive. Can Brad Life jump again? Yes, he is able to land his turn, and they will finally look to get an ace. But that Ilawi, man, was scary at this point. 20-second dead time is still remaining. Can they look to get something else? We don't really know. But this game should not have gone on for so long, Apollonia, because I feel the advantage that Rise had should have allowed them to just completely close the game. But these team fights, man, should not underestimate Alliance at this point, but they are doing a lot of damage themselves.
I find the strategy of both team compositions to be very fun, like really tricky and very interesting. And we see the On calls in the big On,
But
and
nothing. I'm not sure what he uses it for because now Baron's gonna be up, and you can bet for sure New Alliance are gonna go for it. So the fights just don't end. Yes, Crits has teleport. He can go and come back, buy some items. Yes, he has a Thorn Mail. He's literally not dying anymore. But who's doing damage? Forgotten AD. He's the only guy you have to look at here.
oh my gosh, the way where I was trying to figure out what the On was doing, and you're like, he's doing nothing. That just got me cracking. But it looks like the Baron will be attempted again. Mid inhibitor is not there for Noob Alliance. What are they going to do? They're kind of just chilling in the
This is
bush.
also where the cloud buffs come so handy. The fact that they got, I think, 2 or 3 cloud drakes means On's ultimate will be up in 10 seconds. So that he's literally he uses ult like less than a minute ago, it's back up again, and this is the advantage of the cloud drake. Very underrated drake. We have not seen a lot of preseason games where cloud is the soul that comes and teams get cloud. So this one example really showing us how effective cloud can be for these compositions. I love to team fight because every time their ultimates are up faster, and Tristana does not have her ultimate still. Ilavi does have it. There's no flashes on Nubalan's face. Literally no flashes. And bot lane of Rise has flashes. We're going in for another very exciting fight, but the fact that Ilawi is not there, Apollonia, this could probably be Baron for Rise of CJ.
Yes, Ilawi isn't there. You know, I think that she is definitely one of the highest damage dealers, and it looks like the game is going to be unpaused. And Noob Alliance, are they going to try and go into the Baron pit? What is happening? Bishi,
Oh
what
my
do you
lord,
see?
Bradlight has no chill, dude. There's going to be a Taric card being used to disengage, and a 3-man Lissandra, but Lissandra is just fodder at this point as she will look to run away. And look at this, another jump. There's so much CC, and here comes on right again. Gets on 2 people, can he find out do what he did in the last team fight? He's trying his level best to do what he can, but look at how tanky On is. Tanks the entire ultimate, but still does not die. But man, Candy Panda being the 1v3 guy he could potentially be was not enough, as finally they lose a 5-2 at the end of the day, and Rise of CJ go on the board with a complete ace. Really well played. Have to give credit to Forgotten AD. He has been the primary damage dealer for Rise of CJ, and he has not died a lot in this game, and being instrumental in making sure that they do not lose out this game. And finally, Apollonia, it looks like it's going to be a victory for Rise of CJ.
Wow. I think Kratos messed up a little bit there, trying to go in for the back line. It didn't work out for him. He died, and it looks like Zed did a lot of damage, did a lot of cleanup, and that is going to be match 2 for today. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. It is from the Esports Club. This is the rival South Asian Championship powered by LG UltraGear, Zotac, and Act Fibernet. Bishi, I had so much fun watching that game. That Z really exceeded my expectations. It was beautiful.
True. The Z really played well, and I have to give credit to Candy Panda. He look at the damage charts. This guy did 42,000 damage, probably hitting a lot of tanks in the process, mind you. But still, Rise of CJ definitely came out to be the team with better synergy in their composition, and the way they played their early game was just so well done. Brad Life from that Zack with those ultimates, first blood, bot lane kills, definitely looking really strong. We'll take a quick break, guys. This was game two. Game three will be back in just a few minutes. Do not go anywhere. Tune in to this YouTube channel, and we'll be back with you in just a few minutes. See you guys.
See you guys.
Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor.